I also cannot believe that I would be a priest one day. Are you guys familiar with this comedian, Jim Gaffigan?
Gaffigan, no.
Jim Gaffigan. He's an American comedian who is Catholic. What's good about him? No swearing, no green jokes, just pure humor. And he made a front act before the Pope arrived in Philadelphia. He was requested. In one of his talks, he said, I want to make everyone comfortable. That's why I will talk about Jesus. And the people laugh. You talk about Jesus, that's not going to make people comfortable. The same with this topic, holiness. That's why I'm surprised that many are here. It's not a popular topic to talk about, holiness. It's actually coming from the apostolic exhortation of Pope Francis, which is Gaudete et exultate. It means rejoice and be glad. Usually the title of the exhortation comes from the first two words. It starts with that, rejoice and be glad. The Latin is Gaudete et exultate. And for the Pope, it says, it reproposes the call to holiness in a practical way for our own time with all its risks, challenges, and opportunities. That's the exhortation, that's a title. But even then, if you say, come, attend a talk on Gaudete et exultate, it's not very attractive. That's why for the Salesians, the Rector Major made a strena. With strena, that's the direction for the year. Coming from this, and the strena of the Rector Major is more appealing. That's the title of the talk. Holiness for you too. That would pick up to the curiosity. Okay? And it says below, so that my joy may be in you. You will find out why that line is very prominent. Cardinal Tagle, I think he was still a priest. He gave a homily. Anyone has heard Cardinal Tagle give a homily? It's really good, right? And with a sense of humor. He gave a homily, and then he narrated a joke, and people started laughing. Jel, you would remember this. And the guy in front really laughed so hard, nang buong pustiso niya lumipad sa harap. And all the more, Tagle started laughing kasi talaga nag-bounce yung pustiso sa harap ganun. So tumatawa na siya, natawa patuloy. After the Mass, one sister approached him. You know, Father, now I know that you are not holy. Tagle says, I'm not holy, I'm trying to be. But I'm curious why. Because you laugh. Holy people do not laugh. Sabi niya, kaya pala maraming masusungit na madre. It's opposite. Pope Francis, holiness, be joyful. My joy may be in you. So when a community is joyful, they're holy. When a community is gathered, drinking beer and happy, I don't know if they're holy.
Spirit filled.
Yeah, ibang spirit yun. Ibang patron saint yun, San Miguel. So that my joy may be in you. And for me, I think we need to remind the world about this. The world needs to be reminded about holiness. That's why the title is, hey, it's for you. When it was introduced, it's not only for the priests and nuns. I think brothers and sisters will understand why in the early centuries, most of the saints are priests and nuns. Because even the church has a wrong thinking that holiness only for priests and nuns. It took a while before lay people started to become saints. But now, it's a reality, it's for all. Sometimes a holy lay person is more inspiring than a holy priest. Why? Priests are supposed to be holy. But for a lay people to be holy, that's inspiring. We need to remind the world about that. For me, this is my own reflection, so disclaimer lang. I'm not really an expert in that Gaudete et exultate. I'm not a theologian. I'm not fond of talking up there. I just want to have my own reflection, share with you my own struggle, and hopefully you can realize, yeah, it's for all of us. For me, my reflection is this: holiness is what the world needs, but it is not what the world wants. For example, dear parents, are you convinced that vegetables or eating vegetables is important for your children? Yes. Okay, so somebody agrees. So for parents, I think you're convinced eating vegetables is what your children need. But you ask them, do you want to eat vegetables? No. You know they need it, but if you ask them, they don't want. Eat the spaghetti, they'll eat. Chicken, they'll eat. Sweets, they'll eat. Vegetables, no. That's my reflection that holiness is what the world needs, but it's not what the world wants. The world is hungry, but the question is, what is the world hungry for? I'm going to make a comparison between holiness and hunger, just to prove to you that it's what we need, but in reality, it's not what the world wants. If you talk about hunger, we know that's a need. And nobody has to remind you of that need. There's a built-in craving in man that at this certain time, you have to be hungry. I grew up in a seminary, and since in a seminary, our life is very regimented, it comes to a point na parating ng 12 o'clock, I have to be hungry talaga. We were trained to eat breakfast, merienda, lunch, merienda, dinner. We were trained, yeah. We eat 5 times. We really eat, but the quality is not good. But because of the training, wait, 10 o'clock now, where's merienda? Automatic need for that. So, hunger is built in. You cannot postpone that. In fact, it's dangerous. Anong term dyan? Pag nalipasan ng gutom, delikado yan. So, it's a need that has to be satisfied. And how do you satisfy that? And by the way, behind this, why is there hunger? Because of the body's desire for nourishment. Let's be clear, you get the comparison. What we actually need is nourishment. Hunger is just a built-in alert to the body you need to eat. Because if you will not eat, you will not be nourished. If there's no nourishment, you'll get sick. So nourishment is what we need. For example, if I want to create a hole in this table, I'm going to look for a drill. So I'm going to go to Ace Hardware. Meron ba rito Ace Hardware? Philippines lang pala yun. True value, wala. Wala kayong mercury dito. O sige. Bibili ka ng drill. You think you need a drill? What do you need? A drill? No. What you actually need is to create a hole. The drill is just a tool for the hole. Get so? The same with this. What we want is nourishment. And the body's way of triggering that is gutom. And sometimes may sound effect pa yan. May rumbling somewhere here. Na-experience yan, how embarrassing, no? Gumagano yung tiyan mo. Gutom talaga. So, I'm hungry, I want to eat. And the question now is, what do you want to eat? Here we go. We go now to specifics. Maybe this one, dinuguan. Yeah. Maybe this one, no? Lechon.
Wow.
Diba? How about this? Pansit. Or spaghetti. Or, gugutom na ba kayo? Fried chicken.
Wow.
Or about this, Filipino talaga style, adobo.
Wow.
Okay? These are now specific food that we need. And I think you would agree with me, what we eat usually are the things we find delicious. Right? Yung favorite mo. Siguro 5 na yan, top 5 yan for all of us. At least for me, favorite ko yan. Wala dyan ang gulay.
May kalamansi, father. May kalamansi.
Kalamansi. Dekorasyon mo yan. Wala dyan balot. I don't eat balot. I don't know why. I don't eat. So, pag ganyan, masarap yan. But the problem is, we start to crave for these things. Uy, punta ka ng Chowking, masarap ang siopaw doon. Sorry, Philippines lang version ko. You go to Jollibee, masarap ang Chicken Joy doon. I heard na Jollibee was rated one of the best fried chicken sa Hong Kong. Tataas ang rating nun, di ba? So you start to crave for particular food, forgetting that behind all this, what you actually need is nourishment. Nakalimutan na yun. Ano gusto mo? Fried chicken. Sa totoo lang ang gusto mo, mabusog para maging healthy. But you start to get distracted with a particular food na sometimes, alam natin, pag nasobrahan ka, when do you actually ask this? Okay guys, who wants nourishment? Parang hindi yata common na, who wants to be nourished? Ano yan? Pero pag ang tanong mo, sino gusto nito? Ayan, marami ka lang tataas na kamay. Specific yan eh. The same with holiness. And sometimes, sa sobrang craving natin for these things, this can actually be harmful to health. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Sino rito may mga bawal na pagkain na kasi sobrang cholesterol mo, uric mo. Ano kasama dito? Uric at cholesterol sa sobra. Masarap nga, pero pag nasobrahan, hindi na sa nourishment. In fact, it's against nourishment. Right? Pero kung maalala natin, bakit ako kakakain ng gulay? Kasi it's gonna make me healthy. Hindi na yung tanong eh, anong masarap? Fried chicken. Ano pa? Fried chicken, fried chicken, fried chicken. Ang sarap nga, pero dangerous sa health. The same with holiness. Holiness is for you. Who wants to be holy? Alam mo, reaction pag yan ang tanong mo, subukan mo kaya, kasama mo yung friends mo, nagiinuman kayo. Biglang out of the blue, sabi mo, para I want to be holy. Ano problema mo? Try to ask the question normally. You have a child, anak, anong gusto mong paglaki mo? Dad, I want to be holy. May lagnat ka ba? It's not a topic that normally we talk about who wants to be holy. Itong reaction, no? Smirk. Ano to? Ex-seminarian ka ba? Ba't pinag-uusapan holiness? When actually, it's what we need. Who wants to be nourished? Nobody. Who wants fried chicken? Me. But actually, fried chicken is supposed to nourish you. The same with holiness. Instead, if you ask the following question, who wants more money? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Who wants to be surrounded by good friends? All of us. Especially friends na nagpapautang. Yes. Nanilibre lagi. Who wants high grades for the students? And for parents, di ba, you want high grades for your children. Who wants high salary? Who wants a good job? Who wants success in life? All of us, including me. Who wants to be famous? Baka konti na lang yan. Who wants to be famous? Who wants power? Politicians. Election, kakatapos lang. Nag-aagawan na ngayon. Sabi nila si Tito Soto in danger because another senator trying to get his position. Power na. Nagmo-movement na sila. Who wants authority? All this, thumbs up yan. Gusto natin yan. Forgetting that these are simply elements of fullness of life. These are actually elements of holiness. What we are looking for, a kind of life that there's meaningfulness, we are happy, we are contented, wala kang kaaway, you're doing good to others, you just want to be happy, that is actually holiness. But we are not looking for holiness, we are looking for particular things na in fact, pag nag-obsess ka dyan, it can even be harmful to your life. So sobrang craving for money, you can get lost. Sa sobrang craving for power, you become corrupt. True, right? You get the connection between hunger and holiness. We want to eat food, particular food, when in fact it's nourishment. We want to have money, we want to have fame, we have to authority, when in fact what we are looking for is a life that has fullness and meaning. How do you practice holiness in a world of selfie? I want to be holy, but I want to do it my way. That's a danger. You want to be holy? Yes. But then you want to go to Mass. It's a specific way of living holiness. It's like this though. I want to be healthy, but I want to eat chicharon all the time. The same. I want to be holy, but I want to do it my way. I interviewed one 18-year-old girl kasi former retreatant ko siya. I gave a talk. I was asked to give a talk pala. Parenting Gen Z. Gen Z, I don't know ng bracket ng Gen Z. I think from 16 to 21. That's Gen Z. Beyond that, millennials na. So I think we have millennials here, ano? Yeah. Sino yung feeling millennial dito?
Feeling.
Feeling millennial. Sino mga baby boomers like me, 1961? Yun, mayroon. Sino mga lost generation after World War II? But anyway, it's wrong to bracket a generation. Actually, I don't like that. Kasi when you ask a Gen Z of the city, iba ang Gen Z sa probinsya. Di ba? But I asked one city girl. Etong sagot niya, with pride pa, Father, sagot niya, Gen Z, we are very opinionated. Personally, I have a strong faith in Jesus, but I don't always subscribe to the traditional teachings of the Catholic Church. With pride pa, ano sinabi niya, talagang, at ganun siya ka-confident sa akin, or ka-familiar pala, or comfortable. She even mentioned this topic, an 18-year-old girl talking to a priest, like premarital sex, Father. Binanggit niya yan. Tignan mo yung mga sentence construct niya. Personally, I believe the idea of virginity is just a social construct invented by the patriarchy to degrade women and equate our inherent self-worth to our sex life. Nosebleed. Grabe. Ang lalalim na mga ano niya. But one thing I like about her, the fact that she can tell me that, she's very comfortable with me to mention that. Okay, fine, they're very opinionated. But if you try to analyze this is actually a girl saying, I believe in God, but I want to do it my way. I believe in God, but I'm okay with premarital sex. I believe in God, but I'm okay with abortion. If that's the case, it's really hard to put holiness in a world of selfie when people measure everything on the self. It's really hard. And they think they cannot be holy. That is where Pope Benedict gave the warning, the dictatorship of relativism. Let me show first the reality of the world before telling you that holiness actually, I might make a mistake of saying this, but with Don Bosco behind me, I don't think it's wrong. Holiness actually is easy to practice. It's not something that you have to do something special. In fact, for Don Bosco, one of his statements is, holiness consists in being cheerful. That's only one. And we can all do that, being happy. So, but first, let me show to you the world. The dictatorship of relativism. Pope Benedict says, that's a warning, that's very dangerous, and if you capture that in one statement, it's because that's how I feel. Brothers and sisters, let me present to you the most powerful and the most dangerous statement of society now. Because that's how I feel. Especially with young people. What if your child will go to you, Dad, I want to do it like this. Why? That's how I feel. It's so hard to argue with someone thinking like that. That's how I feel. Anak, it's wrong. That's for you. For me, it's not. I give an example, sometimes I would exaggerate, I would ask the retreatants, you have a son, 15-year-old, and he goes to you, Dad, can you buy me a padlock? Yale pa, brand Yale, with a key. Why anak for your locker? No, Dad, you know the body piercing now? Ang uso na may padlock dito. Sample lang, I'm exaggerating. I asked them, would you allow your son? No, Father. The son will say, why, Dad? Anak, ang pangit. Dad, sa'yo yun. For me, I feel powerful na may padlock dito. Anong laban mo dun? With that kind of thinking, no? Ang hirap. Anak, anong klaseng kalokohan yan, Dad? You're so... Panahon nyo kasi. Uso ngayon body piercing, saka dad, practical pa when I go to school, locker. Pag-uwi pa sila. How do you argue with someone you're thinking like that? That's how I feel. It's really hard. What if someone wakes up one day and says, I'm not a male, I'm not a female, I'm not a she-male, I'm like this. Now in Facebook, we have 71 genders. 71. Because a person can just wake up and say, this is me. I'm not a male, I'm not a female, I'm not lesbian, I'm not transgender, I'm this. Another pronoun for that person. It's terrible. This one is really making a mess of the world. That's how I feel. Before, the world is very theocentric, God in the center. Today, God has shrunk, and who is now the center, na off-center, man. Imagine how this will roll if the center is on the side. It goes like this. That's what is happening in the world right now. Because the center is not God, it's man. That's how I feel. One pastor made a wake-up call with the other pastors, and this can be for you, couples, even BLD. He says, it's nice now we have fellowship, we have praise and worship, it's good. But he says, take a look how we do the praising. The place, very nice, no? He's a born-again pastor. Look at that. Everyone awake. Go to a Catholic Mass. Be seated for the homily. Tulog na yung mga tao. No? For them, it's just alive. Look at the venue they use. Audiovisual yan, as in carpeted, no? Big. Look at the bands they have, their music ministry. Wow, Hillsong type. You don't fall asleep. Everyone's just dancing and having fun and feeling their God. Then he asked this, what if this will work? It's not working. There. What if we take away the cool music, the cushion chairs? What if the screens are gone, stage no longer decorated? What if air conditioning is off and comforts are removed? Would his word still be enough for his people to come together? That's a good question. Why did you go there? Because the music is good. What if there's no music? Ayoko na. It means you did not go for Jesus. You go there because you feel good. It's all about self. In a very subtle way, self can even mess up religion. When a Catholic would say, Father, I want to go born again. Why? Kasi sarap dun I feel welcome. Are you looking for Jesus? Or are you looking for simply because you feel welcome? It's a good question. And he's asking his fellow pastors. Isa pa sabi niya, pag naglabas tayo, ito palang warning, ang tawag dyan, the heresy of worship-tainment. Worship plus entertainment. There's one church in New York, so popular, celebrities like to go there. Like Justin Bieber. The pastor, it's a Hillsong branch in New York. You look at the pastor, Carl, I forgot his name. Wow, tight jeans, tattoos, artistahin ng mukha talaga. And he drinks in the bar with Justin Bieber. That's why they like it. One writer says, because it is a church that adjusts to their lifestyle. And there's something basically wrong with that. Isn't it you join the church so that you will change for the church? Ito baliktad, is the church adjusting to them. That's why everyone happy. But there's no morality, no right or wrong. That's why it's very popular. Young people don't like a church that says, this is right, this is wrong. You made a choice. In that church, no right and wrong, come as you are. Even the pastor would drink with you. It's a church that adjusts to them. But aren't you supposed to behave better when you join the church? One more, he says, when we come up with tarpaulins, take a look what we write. Come and have a good time. Come and be entertained. Come and find your best life now. He says, why is it all about you? Aren't we supposed to tell them, come, follow the Lord, carry your cross? Not this one, because it's very not popular. This one is okay. And for him, it's not about God. It's about self. Because That's how I feel. According to Pope Benedict, he says, we are building a dictatorship of relativism that does not recognize anything as definitive and whose ultimate standard consists solely of one's ego and desires. It's really hard in a world like that to propose holiness. Ego and desires. Even morality is affected. What is your definition of morality? Just be good. I go to Mass, I don't kill, I don't steal, I'm okay. How about doing good to others? Not interested. What is faith? I feel good. What if you don't feel good anymore? Quit. Right now, I'm in CFC. I don't like this one anymore. Go to another one. When I was a parish priest, first week, a lay minister gave his letter of resignation. Father, I'm going to resign. Why? Because one of the priests here shouted at me during the Mass. I was embarrassed, humiliated, I'm going to quit. Okay, I respect. Where are you going? Father, to the other parish. I will stay there. But what if the priests there are more salbahe than here? Oh, I will quit. Go to another parish. It's not Holy Week yet, but you're doing Visita Iglesia. Is this how you feel? Today, someone says, God is not being denied. Believers are not being hunted and killed, unlike the early disciples and Christians. People just don't care whether there's God or not. People are free what to accept or not, and nothing is to be imposed. Oh, young people like this. One idea is just an opinion. No common good. What is good for me? So brothers and sisters, if this is the world, how can holiness even make a foothold? Especially when young people think of holiness as only for the saints, the weird kind of people. If only they realize that holiness actually is like being healthy without sickness. Who doesn't want that kind of a life? May iba lang kasing tatak ang holiness eh. Parang weird. Yung mga type pa na everyone is having fun, tapos yung holy classmate mo nakatingala lagi sa class. Oh, say Lord, buy one, take one. Anong problema mo? I'm contemplating the face of God. Wow, my goodness. Pag meron kang kaibigan, layuan mo na, baka may mental problem. Naglalakad siya, may lumapit sa kanya, where's the way to the CR? Sagot niya, Jesus is the way, the truth. Tingnan natin sa holiness, weird. Diba? O kain tayo, oh, I'm fasting eh. I'm fasting for the Lord. Akin na ngayon. Parang ganun ba? So how do you propose? It's really hard. Especially in the world of self. With God out of the picture, ikaw ang bida. So the question is, how do you propose holiness in this kind of a world? Actually, the best proposal is, you be holy. And that's the best advertisement for the world. Talking to the world being holy, not so effective, but living your life holy, you're a walking billboard to the world. One more thing about the Lord. I think you remember this. I think I gave a talk about this. Jesus is the answer daw, one billboard. Then somebody wrote below, what is the question? Makes sense. Here's someone telling the world, Jesus thou is the answer. Somebody wrote below, why? What is the question? Is someone asking? Ang comparison ko dyan, you're walking in the mall, dun sa City Gate outlet. Because I've been there this morning. And then you have no watch, and you approach the guard. Sir, what time is it? There's a question, and the guard says, it's 3 o'clock. Perfect. There's a question, there's an answer. But if you're walking the mall, all of a sudden the guard approaches you, sir, it's 3 o'clock. How will you... What's your problem? Why are you offering me an answer when I'm not asking? Right? Why are you telling me Jesus is the answer if I'm not asking at all? We might be proposing something that the world does not actually want, or the world thinks, I don't want that answer. That's why for me, more than proposing holiness, live it to the point that they'll be the one asking, what's with him? He has no vices, he's good, and yet he's happy. We keep on drinking, and yet our problems pile up. He looks okay, no vices, and yet he's happy. What's with him? It's the world asking more than you proposing. But if you ask instead, money is the answer? Oh yes. Jesus is the answer? What is the question? Money is the answer? Yes. Schedule for recollection. I'll show to you. That's one way also of looking at holiness. I was a seminarian. I was in the Mosque of Mandaluyong. We're like 5 brothers. We have a big community, like 15. And we had a quarterly recollection. And the rector, feeling niya, I want to empower the seminarians. Brothers, and tawag sa amin, brothers, you be the one to make the schedule for tomorrow's whole day quarterly recollection. Quarterly recollection is a recollection. It's a time for prayer and reflection and sharing. Okay, excited mga brothers. That evening, the rector asked, do you have a schedule na? Yes, Father. Tell us a schedule. Okay. We will wake up. Then, along the way, we have merienda. That will be delicious merienda. Because the quarterly is in a resort with swimming pool and beach, no? Then when we arrive, swimming. Then when we are tired, lunch. After lunch, a bit of siesta. Okay? Yeah. Then, swimming again. Then after swimming, merienda again. If there's still time, recollection. The rector was so angry with us. Palitan niyo yung schedule na yan. No? Father, joke lang. But isn't that how we look at holiness? The same. What is your plan in life? Well, get rich, explore places, be adventurous, have fun, meet a lot of people, be successful, learn many things. If there's still time, be holy. Especially when you're old na and retired. That's the time to go to Mass every day and pray the rosary every 5 minutes. Parang pinupuspon ng holiness. Pag matanda ka na, wala ka na magawa, sige na nga, magdasal ka dyan. Para sa busy ka, wag muna, enjoy, yan muna. Oh. That's the wrong idea of holiness, no? Para bang, kung may time. That's why a lot of people have regrets when they die. This one is a compilation of doctors and nurses who interviewed dying patients. And they came up with top 5 regrets. Take a look at this, is really serious. I hope you will not fall in any of this. First regret, I wish I had the courage to live the life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Parents, do not enforce you take law, because we're all lawyers. If you do that, your child might obey, but at the end, it's not the life he or she wants. Especially if you have a child given a vocation to become a priest or a nun, please don't make a mistake of being an obstacle. That I want to become a priest. Sayang, bait-bait mo, gwapo pa. Mga pumapasok mo, mga pangit at mga bobo. Yung favorite son mo, Dad, I'm thinking, wag ikaw. Ito na lang yung makulit na bunso. Pumasok mo. Dapat ka dun. Another regret, I wish I didn't work so hard. I'm sure marami tamaan dito. I wish I had the courage to express my feelings. Sa pa yun? I was able to say I love you kay tatay before he died years ago. But isang regret ko si nanay. She died when I was 10. I cannot remember ever saying I love you to my mom. And she died. That's a regret. Fourth, I wish I had stayed in touch with my friends. And lastly, I wish I had let myself be happier because I realized happiness pala is a choice. You are not happy because everything is perfect. May mga tao na kahit may malas sa buhay nila, they choose to be happy. It's a choice pala. Happiness is a choice. Kung ganun pala may regrets, ibig sabihin meron palang way of living na pag yan ang buhay mo, masaya talaga. And if you fail to have that, you will live a life of regrets. Therefore, papasok yung holiness. Maybe holiness nga is the right way of living life. And we will discover holiness is so practical. It's so easy to practice. It's a day-to-day ordinary way of living life. is not even long hours in prayer. That's why we like this, kasi when the Pope came up with the exhortation, nag-fit sa aming Salesian spirituality. Don Bosco is very much into that. Live your ordinary life in an extraordinary way. That's the style of Don Bosco. Dominic Savio, that boy is, sorry I have to call him weird talaga. After the Holy Mass, everyone having breakfast, Dominic would have part 2 pa, stay behind and pray pa rin. During winter, he would not use blanket, para he would shiver and offer that to the Lord. Yan talagang weird. During summer, 3 blankets, para when he sleeps, pawis siya, and I offer my suffering to the Lord. Imagine may anak ng ganyan. Ang mental hospital mo na yan. He would skip breakfast, and when Bosco discovered him, where's Dominic? Father, I think he's behind the chapel. Nakita niya, praying. Dominic, what are you doing? I'm praying. That's false humility. That's false piety. Dominic, this time you're supposed to eat. God's will is for you to eat. That is holiness. What you're doing right now, that's not holiness. That's fake piety. That's in Bosco style. Ordinary way, but you do it extraordinarily. Here is the video that I would like to show you. this video. Yeah, it summarizes everything. Why we need to be holy, and why if you fail to be holy, you will just live a life with a lot of stress, anxieties, envy, and the rest. So the key is this one. You hold the cup, Coffee. Sino mga coffee lovers and drinkers dito? Diba? It's so nice. You like this, so take a sip, supposed to be sarap ng kape. Or like this, pag taste mo, life is good. Pero ganito, pag take ng sip mo, ganda ng cup ko. Glass. Teka muna, bakit porcelain sa'yo? Daya, kainis ah. Simula ng regret. At yung last four na sinabi niya, that is actually holiness. The last four he suggested, what are those? Live simply, speak kindly, care deeply, love generously. This is holiness, this is fullness of life. And if you live that, I don't think at the end of your life you will have regrets. Totoo, di ba? If you live like that, live simply. You don't get attached. You have things, but don't get attached. Speak kindly. Instead of chismis and backstabbing, care deeply. You have the sympathy and empathy and compassion for others and love generously, no limits. You live that kind of a life, I think when you die, you will hear the Lord says, good and faithful servant, come and join. That's coffee, that's life, and yet we forget that. We start to look at the cup. How big is my salary? How big is my house? My position in society? And then, how come that one is a better one than me? You start to compare, and you start to be angry. That's why the frustration of man is this, looking for happiness in things that don't last and don't bring full human satisfaction. We know this, but how come we keep doing it? Instead of enjoying the coffee, you're more concerned about the kind of cup you have. One more reason why we need to be holy and why the Lord must be at the center is my favorite parable, the mustard seed. Mustard seed, the smallest. This is not a mustard tree. I'm just giving a picture of a small tree. But it goes like this. Because becomes the largest of plants and puts forth large branches so that the birds of the sky can dwell in its shade. Okay? And let's take a look at those birds in our life. It can be your work, friends, social life, church work, family, wealth, free time, love life, civic work, etc., etc. These are all the birds. And they have their nests. And they're actually unique. Unique in the sense that during the day, the birds can fly different directions. They are not all similar. Like this, iba-iba yan. But the good thing is, at the end of the day, they all come back to the same tree. There's something uniting each of them. And that is actually holiness. That is fullness of life. How you are with your family is the same behavior when you are with your friends. The same with your work. If you're loving in a family, you're loving with your friends, you're loving at work. There's integrity, there's unity. That's holiness. Holiness is wholeness. It's not too much prayer. And the question is, what if you don't have the tree? What if you cut it? What will happen to the birds? They will be there, they will fly, and they will not be able to go back to the same place. So you have birds who are just flying around. Ang tawag sa buhay, buhay na sabog. Yung work mo, walang connection sa family mo. Walang connection sa salary mo, walang connection sa mga friends mo. That's why some people would tend to work and work and work and not go home. Because when they go, mag-aaway na sila ng misis niya. They look at work as an escape. Some students, dismissal time at school, ayaw umuwi. Kasi pag uwi nila, masasarmonan lang. But imagine if your life, nag-aaral ka, pag-uwi mo sabay, grateful ka sa parents mo, paglaki mo, you start working, you have a salary, you know how to use money well, the whole life mo, there's like a direction because there's God. Yan ang holiness. That's why we'd say, holiness is for you. But we know it sounds remote, alien, a life that's weird, only for the saints. People don't actually see. Holiness is not a killjoy spirituality. Ay, ayoko maging holy kasi pag holy ka, hindi ka pwede uminom, hindi ka pwede manigarilyo, hindi ka pwede magmura. Parang tingin nila sa mga holy people, killjoy. Nagsasaya kami, masyado ka naman spiritual, masyado kang para kang ex-seminarian. Para bang ang mga holy people are so sad kasi wala silang mga ganun. While kami na nagmumura, nagkakaroon ng affair, umiinom, ang saya namin. When in fact, kung talaga may taong holy, that holy person will actually put to shame all those who are doing bad things. Those who do bad things, they just project as if they're cool. Ito binabanggit ko sa mga bataan. Pag nag-party kayo, nothing wrong with party. When someone offers you drugs, tapos nag-decline ka, sinabihin ka, napaka-killjoy mo naman, stay put, and tell that person, you're so pathetic, just to enjoy, you have to pop a pill in your mouth. Those who say they are cool because they do bad things are actually pathetic. And those who stand by their principle, to remain pure, to be like, they're actually witnessing to the young. They're actually living a life na kinaingit. Buti pa siya, no? Nakapag-no siya. Ba't ganun? Bakit ako pag natukso, bagsak agad siya? May prinsipyo siya. Actually, holy people will be a shining example to the rest. Not the other way around. Kalungkot ka naman, killjoy. People don't realize holiness is not practicing abstract values like self-denial, temperance. Diba sometimes we talk about Opus Dei kasi they have a secret way. May mga ganun pa yata sila eh. May meron silang nilalagay ng mga penas, mga tutusok sa paa nila. I don't know if that's true but parang weird. Ganun bang holiness? No? They put things pa, luluhod ka pang ganyan. It's not about that. It's not about practicing. It's about harmony of these virtues in your life. Third, it's not just the ability to reject evil and embrace the good, but the readiness to live the good life. Hindi lang, bawal to, bawal yan. But doing the good. That may mag-asawa, lagi nag-aaway. Kinounseling ng parish priest, please don't fight, you scandalize the whole neighborhood. I forbid you to fight. Wala nang loud voices ha? Sige, Father, out of obedience. After 6 months, chinek ng pare. Kamusta? Father, no more fighting. Sure? Father, you ask the kapitbahay. Wala nang sigawan talaga. We don't fight anymore. Do you talk? Hindi rin. So wala nang sigawan. Hindi man nag-uusap. It's not just rejecting the good. It's doing the good and rejecting the bad. It's not a goal to be rich, but an ongoing journey. So if anyone would say, I'm holy, that's fake. You never reach a point to say, I'm holy. It's an ongoing journey until we die. Fourth, it's not about condemning what is wrong, but enjoying what is true, good, just, and beautiful. And brothers and sisters, be grateful that we have a Pope like this right now at this time, Pope Francis. That is what Pope Francis is trying to tell us. The church has been too much on the condemning. Bawal to, mali yan, mortal sin yan. Sabi niya, can we swing to the other side? A church that is compassionate, enjoys the beauty of life? Hindi lang ang bawal yan, mortal sin yan. Yan magaling ang simbahan before it. That's why the church is very good in creating guilt talaga. But Pope Francis, can we not create a joyful atmosphere of being tolerant and being accepting of people? And lastly, it's living the Beatitudes, which is not a commandment for losers, but a rule of life for true happiness. So this is actually what we want. But we don't realize this. People don't realize and don't see, they are not actually looking for wealth. So totoo lang ha? They are not actually looking for material things. They are not actually looking for a good job. They are not actually looking for a big salary. They are not actually looking for a relationship. They are not actually looking for fame. What is man actually looking for? Looking for a meaningful life. Actually looking for happiness. They're actually looking for fullness of life. They're actually looking for God. But we don't look at this. We look at this. You don't look at nourishment. You look at dinuguan. A specific food. Which pag nasobrahan ka, can actually kill you. For example, this is one good case of a reminder. Celibacy. We practice that. We have to, please. Although, let's be practical here. A lot of priests fail on this. So, even sa province, for example, no, ang mga chismis yan, si Father maraming altar servers yan. Iba dyan anak niya. Totoo talagang that's the reality. Hindi hinahanap si Kristo, kaya dumating si Kristi. You know who gave me a good definition of celibacy? For a while, hindi ko rin maintindihan eh. Ba't kami hindi mag-aasawa? Eh, ganun yun eh. O, sige na nga, follow. But a lay person shared to me a good one. Ano masabi niya? Father, kaya kayo mga celibate. You know why? Because you're a walking reminder. You're reminding everyone, especially married people, it's good for you to love and be faithful to your spouse, but please don't forget, your spouse is not the goal of your life. It's not the center of your life. Man's longing to be with someone is just a reflection of man's longing to be with God. That's why we are celibate, because we are trying to remind you the end of your life is not your spouse, it's God. That's why we are not married to show to you that man can still be happy, because man, happiness is with the Lord. Don't tell your wife naman. Okay. Now you know why. Hindi na kinakausap. No, your vocation is to love, but to bring oneself together to the Lord. That's your vocation. To the Lord pa rin. I'm gonna play this song. How many have seen Greatest Showman?
Yes.
It's not showing. There's a problem with HDMI. Ulitin ko. Okay. Para lumabas.
Yan.
There. Okay. Volume please. Saan ang iPad? At first I thought that she was being selfish kasi never enough for me, for me, for me. But I'll show you the lyrics mamaya. It's a nice song. Can we switch off the lights? Volume pa, Brett?
Set off a dream, getting loud, decorating
Nasa aircon.
my heart. We share this, starting without you. All the shines, a thousand spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will never be
So, likes. At first I thought it was a very selfish song for me, until I read the lyrics. It goes like this: take my hand, will you share this with me? Because darling, without you, all the shine of thousand spotlights. So it's actually saying, if you are not in my life, even if I become famous with thousand spotlights, never enough. Even if I become rich with towers of gold, never enough. And I was thinking, can we actually sing this to the Lord? Without God, it will never be enough. If you can do that, then God really is the center of your life. Lord, I'm rich, I'm famous, I've achieved a lot of things, but if you are not in my life, all this are just a cup. I'm not living a holy life. If we can say that with conviction, then I think your path is the path of holiness. The Lord is not the decoration, the Lord is the very center in your life. Now without Him, never enough. So, let's go back. Holiness is what the world needs, but it's not what the world wants. And we need to remind the world about this, the need to remind them. I'm going to go through lang. These are 5 points of holiness, according to the Strena. Very practical. The first point of the Strena is this: God calls everyone to holiness. So, brothers and sisters, we're all called to holiness. Who wants to be holy? Do like this, o ikaw, be holy. No, you. To the point that if you are not holy, what's your life for? You get a point? Holiness must be our life, that if you are not living it, what is your life for? You're wasting life. Holiness is the only way. Negative connotation of holiness. I mentioned this already. Remote and unfamiliar to today's world. Secondly, it's a spiritualism or fleeing from reality. That's how we look at holy people. That they're so distant, they're not normal, they're weird. And the third idea is, it's applicable only to those venerated in the altars. Here are positive notion of holiness, and this is Don Bosco's way na. And Don Bosco is very good in this. In fact, that apostolic exhortation is very much influenced by the Salesian spirituality. Number one, God's call refers to ordinary way of living an ordinary Christian life. You don't need to become a nun or a priest. You don't need, well, I'm not saying you don't need, even without being a missionary to other places, you can be holy. The Lord will not measure your holiness with the things you have done. In fact, if you start taking that, that's pride. But even though you're just, you're not just, you're a housewife, washing dishes, preparing breakfast for your children, that is already holiness if you do it extraordinarily well. Secondly, and this one is very good, when the Lord says, be perfect as your heavenly Father is perfect, take a look, it's a perfection of love, not in morality. So guys, when I say perfect, doesn't mean a man who does not swear, doesn't lie. And when you say people are canonized as saints like Mother Teresa of Calcutta, John Paul II, you know, every time a saint is declared, they are devil's advocate. You know who are devil's advocate? These are priests who would find reasons to put you down. And when Mother Teresa was canonized as saint, there were a lot of people in India who objected. She was rude. She was power play na nun. And exactly that's why they are saints, because even though they are perfect and not imperfect, they're trying their best to keep loving. So let's be clear about that. Holy people are not sinless. Holy people are sinful, but they are just consistent in loving others. That's holiness. Mag-work pa ba ito? Parang wala na.
Yes, Father.
Okay. Third, being fully human by God's grace, that's holiness. All your talents, what you have, use it, don't waste it. Fourth, concrete harmony of virtues and values and not just about abstract aspirations, very concrete. Fifth, constantly living a good life and not just reacting to good and evil. You see, I think the mga underlined words here is perfection of love, not to morality, constancy. Constantly, there's constancy in your life to live a good life, even though you struggle. In fact, I think good witness for holiness are people who also fall, and yet they can share to us their own struggle and still try to be good. That's why they say, that's why Peter was elected the first pope, not Saint John. This is not theological, this is a speculation. Why not Saint John, the beloved? Because Saint John was just too perfect. Peter denied the Lord 3 times. We can relate with Peter. That's why sa Saint Dominic Savio, we have 2 young boys in our congregation. Saint Dominic Savio, Saint Magone, not a saint, but I like more Magone. Saint Dominic Savio is too perfect. Yung motto niya, death rather than sin. Who would come up with a motto like that? He would rather die than commit a sin. That's unreachable. Buti pa si Don Bosco, ang mga style niya very practical. Jump, run, shout, but do not sin. Alumni, tinitwist nila. Jump, run, shout, but do not be seen. Huwag ka lang mahuli ako. Alumni talaga yan. Experiencing what is true, good, and beautiful in life. See, these are exciting actually. There's nothing there about special, unique, not eating, praying all the time, acting weird, all normal. And the last, living according to the Beatitudes. Becoming a saint is the most urgent task of Christians. I'm going to give a reflection at the end. If you don't live this, what is your life for? Saints are a reflection of Christ. Christians must be Christ-like. That's why it's for all. The face of God and the face of man shines out together in Christ. Here is just being shown that if you want to be holy, the perfect model is the Lord, because Jesus can show both faces, the face of God and the face of man. Imagine if somebody would look at you. I told this in the singles encounter. There's a blind beggar who was dying, and a group of nuns took care of him before he died because he was treated like a garbage. He was left on the street covered by leaves, with all wounds and sores, even maggots eating him. And the sisters took care of him, gave bath, clean clothing, fed him, talked to him, treated him like a man. And before he died, he's blind. Before he died, he was already dying. Then one sister passed by. He called, "Sister, can you come here?" The sister approached. "Why?" "Sister, I think I know you." And there are 8 sisters. So the sister said, "Really? Do you know me? What's my name?" The blind man says, "I think you are Jesus." He could not see, but he experienced Jesus in the kindness of the sisters. Imagine if we can show that. People can see Jesus in us because we're simply living a life, fullness of life. That's the best model talaga. Next, Christ is the definitive fulfiller of God's will. Therefore, our struggle is this: not only measure to the extent that Christ lives with us, but to the degree in which the Holy Spirit molded our lives in that of Jesus Christ. So not only are we following the Lord, but our life becomes like the life of the Lord. That is holiness, and that is a witness. This is what we call holiness of next door neighbors, and this is what really inspires us. You'll be surprised, the simple good things we do pala, you may not get the reaction, but you never know how someone out there who saw you do something good can be inspired. Look at the 3 saints. Edith Stein, no, not the saint. Edith Stein was an atheist, but she got converted simply because she was talking to a widow. Namatay yung husband sa war, and yet the widow is talking like this: "I miss my husband, but my husband now is with God." Sabi ni Edith Stein, "I'm a pagan, I don't believe in God." What's with her? That she can talk like that, crying and still believing in God? Doon siya na-intrigue. Don Bosco, not with big saints, Mama Margaret, yung nanay niya. Doon siya na-inspire. Saint Therese of Lisieux, famous saint. Sabi niya, when I attend Mass, I don't understand the homilies of the priest. Very long. But it's enough for me to look at my dad, at yung tatay niya, naging santo rin pala, si St. Louis. The dad praying intently, and young girl, St. Therese, looking at my dad, inspiring. You see, we can all pala become next door neighbors. Third, holiness from the experience of being loved, tapos sinishare mo. Take a look at St. Francis of Sales. Naramdaman niya ang pagmamahal ni Lord. Ang ginawa niya, dinala niya ang devotion from the convent, dinala niya sa street, sa ordinary people, kaya na-inspire yung mga tao. Alam mo si St. Francis of Sales, He's a good model for those with temper. You pray to him. Sino sa inyo may temper? Hot-headed si St. Francis of Sales. Sales yan, ha? That's why ang Salesians come from him. Such a temper, and yet, he was able to control himself. He became the most loving, patient bishop. He converted a lot of Calvinist Protestants to become Catholics simply because they admired his kindness. You know, when he died, they say mga organs niya tumigas parang bato. Sa kakakontrol niya lang ng temper niya. So pwede pala mga hot-tempered people, by choice, you can still show an image of goodness. Instead na magalit sa anak mo, you apologize, you go like this, be humble. Anak, sorry Ikaw kasi. Sinisi pa rin. Okay? And holiness without a name. For Pope Benedict, sabi niya, take a look at this, my signposts are not great saints only, but simple saints. Holiness without a name. Tapos sabi niya, it's exciting, ano? So yung sinabi niya, dear friends, how great and wonderful, but also simple is the Christian vocation. Ganun pala, it's a great to be holy, and yet it's so simple. Mamaya makita nyo, students, you study, that's holiness. Parents, cooking food, preparing meals, that's holiness. In your own state. Mary, the best model. Model of what? The model of simple and anonymous holiness. By the way, it's true. If you look at our Blessed Mother, what's so special na ginawa niya? She didn't do any miracle. The greatest is sinabi niya, son, they have no more wine. Diba? Ano pinagalitan niya? Why are you doing this? So nawala si Jesus. You know, your father and I have been looking for you. Napagalitan patuloy. Sabi ni Lord, why are you looking for me? I have to be in my father's house. And yet, Mary precisely is a model of that. Here I am, yung sagot niya, that's a model of full, total availability to God. And she's a model on how to believe, how to hope, and how to love. Kahit hindi niya maintindihan. Lastly, impossible to think of an easy path to holiness without having recourse to Mary as our mother. I don't understand why our brothers in the born again, they hate Mary so much. When in fact, Mary is the best example to make us realize we can be holy like an ordinary woman like our Blessed Mother. She was so ordinary. Holiness according to Don Bosco, proposed by Don Bosco. Very simple. Sabi ni Don Bosco sa mga Salesians, bakit ka naging Salesian? To teach the young? No. The goal of every Salesian member of the congregation is to go for holiness. Na pag hindi mo na-achieve yan, what's your purpose in life? And here's the style of Don Bosco. Easy, pleasant, but strong yung style niya. Fidelity in life of prayer, studies, duties, and recreation. Imagine that for St. Dominic Savio. For the young people here, you're supposed to play, play. You're supposed to eat, eat. You're supposed to pray, pray. You're supposed to be at home, have a good time with your family. Wherever you are, that's the best time for you to do something extraordinary out of something so ordinary. That's why tama si Don Bosco. Holiness is actually easy. What you are doing, do it well. Christian holiness that is well-balanced, congenial, pleasant, and regulated. Kaya sa style namin sa Salesians, we are not so much into fasting. Yung bang extreme na mga penances, yeah, siguro para sa mga Pink Sisters yun, sa mga Carmelites, but ours is ordinary. We don't really go for something extraordinary, but we go for the simple but do it well. That's why I don't believe on live a sinful life, tapos at the end magpapapako ka sa krus. Diba? Ginagawa sa Pilipinas yan. Or, ang sama nila, tapos pa rin ng Holy Week, yung nagtatakip ng t-shirt, tapos magaganyan, no? Talagang extreme, talsika ng dugo talaga. Pero after that, balik na naman sa ugali niya. Nazareno, nandun sila, barefoot talaga, gumaganon. Ang init nun, talagang pawis. After that, red horse. Instead of living a good life all the way, selective lang. Bad, 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 Holy Week, be good. Pakaw ka sa krus. After bad, 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 bad na naman. This one is regulated. Reflection. hey, you're a Christian, you have to be holy and be like this. Wrong. Dapat ang sagot mo ganito. If you are not living a life of holiness, what is your life all about? It may sabihin, kung hindi holiness yung target mo, you're wasting life. I'll try to go faster because I think we only have 45. Pangalawa, very, very short lang. When you want holiness, Jesus is the goal and the effect is happiness. Yan ang point. Sanctity consists in being cheerful. And you'll be surprised that there are 3 popes who would remind us, if you want holiness, the end is always Jesus, and the Lord will make you happy. Holiness is fullness of life that is synonymous with happiness, with blessedness. So brothers and sisters, be happy. Now, let's make it clear. There are some people naman who are gifted naturally na parang may nakasalpak lagi na smile dyan. Hindi naman ganun lagi na angiti ka, no? Nagmimisa lagi ang nangiti kahit seryoso yung recognition ng ngiti ka. And don't think of people na medyo nakasimangot lagi, na lungkot mo. May mga taong ganyan talaga, they're blessed with a face na medyo serious lagi. By the way, ako, may ganun ako. Nang Paris Priest ako, ang image sa akin is tabero. Until you get to know me. May iba naman talaga, very warm personality yan. But don't make the mistake na those who are always laughing are happy. Sometimes it's a camouflage. Happy kung happy. Tapos recollection, happy pa rin, nagtatawanan pa rin. That's not happiness. Nanggugulo ka na. Iba yun eh. Okay, itong sinabi ng 3 popes, sabi nila, Jesus' happiness according to the popes. And these are 3 popes, Ano sabi ni St. John Paul II? If you're seeking for happiness, you're actually seeking the Lord. Galing, ano? Tapos sinabi naman ni Pope Benedict, happiness has a face and has a name. And with that, Jesus. If you want happiness, you're actually looking for Jesus. At kay Pope Francis, talagang ibang klaseng Pope to eh. Ganda sinabi niya, happiness is not an app that you can download sa phone. And happiness is not half-half. I can be happy now. No, either you're happy or you are not. And it's not in a cell phone. You can only find that in the Lord. Let's be convinced about this. And if you're convinced about this, then that's our best way to show to the world that what you're looking for, short-lived happiness. By the way, let's be clear. I'm not saying naman na you don't have to watch a movie, drink. Those are happy moments naman, di ba? Di naman pwede na puro prayer lang, puro spiritual lang. Watch movie, napanood ko yung The Endgame. Avengers, nanood kami. Di ba? Masaya rin yun. Ako pa, if I want, go biking, go eating sa Tagaytay, ang daming kainan doon. Di ba? But be clear lang, what you're looking for, short-lived happiness yan. The real happiness you're looking for is for the Lord. Reflection. Like a deer that yearns for running streams, we also hunger and thirst for many things, hoping that they will make us truly happy. And yet we know they will not. So the question is, we know it is God who will really make us happy, but how come sometimes we don't seek Him? Third, 5 lang to eh. Saints for the young. You'll be surprised at bakit sinit yung young. Young people have a big role in sanctity. You know why? Young people remind us of a joyful life talaga, na sometimes adults lose na. Young people actually remind us to be cheerful. To be idealistic. Salesian holiness, youthful holiness. A new style of holiness tailored to the typical requirements of a boy's development. Bakit boy? Kasi si Don Bosco, ang start niya talaga for boys. Now it's co-ed na. At ang maganda sa kanya, ang holiness niya, pasok sa kanilang development. Don Bosco will never require a special holiness na pambata na ibigay niya pang adults or the other way around. Kung teenager ka, ito yung holiness mo. Pag tumatanda ka na, ito yung challenge sa'yo, yung pasok sa development mo. And that's why hindi siya weird eh. Don Bosco is a master in this. Next, either we sanctify ourselves with them, walking and learning with them in their company, or we shall not become saints at all. Can you imagine that? So, Couples for Christ, alagaan nyo yung youth nyo. Because they will also show you how to be holy, young people. Yeah, they can be matigas ang ulo, they can be like this, but young people are very idealistic. And they see this world. So take care of them because they also show you what it means to be childlike na nawawala sa atin. Di ba? And this is the direction. Holiness of young people, it starts with them, inspires us, the church. At yung ginagawa natin sa community, the grace of God, education, sacraments, makes young people holy. And when young people are holy, nagkakaroon silang witness of young saints. Paikot na naman yan. That's why young people must be part talaga in holiness. That's why in Couples for Christ, kung merong youth kayo, alagaan nyo yan. Ano pa naman ngayon? Year of the youth. So you have to take care of that. Okay? So, our holiness can inspire the young. Holiness of young people can also renew us. Bigayan yan. Yan lang nga, itong reflection ko. Young people can be noisy. Agree?
Always.
Ill-mannered and misbehave sometimes. Ito experience ko But when I have that moment, especially in confession, that there's a young person despairing na. By the way, I think young people would agree, ang depression ngayon sa young people medyo naging common. I don't common ba tamang word? Ang dami ngayon mga depressed na young person. And it's going younger. I heard of a grade 6 experiencing depression. Grade 6. Di ba dapat ang inisip ko ng laro? Di ba? So when I experience a depressed young person, even suicidal, and as a priest, I'll do my best na gusto ko siyang i-advise, and sometimes na-feel ko talaga na enlighten ko siya. Yung moment na yan, I'm talking to young, feel ko talaga si God working in me. Doon ko naramdaman yung holiness. And it's dealing with the young. That's my side lang as a priest. Doon talaga lumalabas yung compassionate side ko when there's a young person crying about to give up, and there I'm doing my best to help that person say, don't do that, believe in God. Tapos ang ending niya, thank you Father for helping me. Yung moment na yan is priceless. I cannot exchange it for anything because at that moment, I really feel the power of God working through a young person. That's my experience, and that's why young people can really help us. This is the best time when I feel God in me reaching out to help. Fourth, the second to the last, what does it mean, holiness for you, also for you? We're all called to be holy. Sample, are you called to the consecrated life like Father Edwin? Be holy by living out your commitment with joy. So please pray for your priest. And if you see your priest making mistakes, please correct them. When you see a priest doing something medyo scandalous na, you have the duty to love your priest by correcting. Otherwise, sasama yan sa statistics of priests and nuns who are causing scandal sa simbahan. And we have so much of that already. Pope Francis is becoming very strict na with the sexual regulation. One mistake, you're out. Doon kasi when you make a mistake, nire-reshuffle, di ba? And that's the cause talaga of scandal. Now the church become very strict. You make a mistake, out. So nakakatakot. So pray for priests, no? So buhay namin yan. You are called to married life. Be holy by loving and caring for your husband or wife as Christ does for the church. Make the sign of the cross. Love for the Lord, love for your spouse. When you're so angry with your spouse, you go like, Lord, because I love you, I'll forgive my husband. Yeah, this one can only survive if you have this. Nainis ka sa mga anak mo, na-happy ko, Lord, nakakainis sa mga anak ko, but because I love you, Lord, I'll still be caring to my children. The horizontal can only work if you have that. Now you know why you make the sign of the cross. You have a job, you're working, be holy by laboring with integrity, honesty. Are you a parent or grandparent? Be holy by patiently teaching the little ones how to follow Jesus. Are you in a position of authority? Anyone here? Are there any politicians here? Be holy by working for the common good and renouncing personal gain. Sarap sabihin to sa Congress, no? Sa Senate. Here's another graph. Ang simula talaga, lahat tayo may vocation to love. Number 1 yan. At pag ginawa mo yan, practicein mo yung fruit ng baptism mo. Dapat lalabas yung fruit na yan eh. Holiness is joyful and full of good humor, but completely realistic. That's good. Holiness accepts dimension of the cross. Ito, isang bagay na hindi mawala. Kaya ang cross yan eh. Hindi lang holiness feeling good. Kapag may hirap, embrace mo rin yun. Holiness is fully human. And lastly, holiness is both a duty and a gift. Once you're baptized, you have a duty to live your Christian life. And yet, it's also a gift from the Lord. So gusto ko lang ipakita sa diagram with this. Peter, do you love me more than this? Yes, Lord, you know that I love you. Challenge the Lord, feed my lambs. And that's exactly the sign of the cross. Feeding the lambs can only survive if you love the Lord. Last, some possible indicators of holiness. Daily life as a place to meet God. Daily life, wherever you are. To be a saint, you have to dwell, you have to do well what you have to do. That is ordinary duties, extraordinarily well. Dinagdagan pa ni St. Francis of Sales, be yourself and be that well. Again, typical Salesian spirituality yan. As individuals and a community, prayer. Dapat ganun, hindi lang puro saya. Prayer has a part talaga, and prayer can be a witness to others. So when they see couples for Christ praying together, that's a witness. Whoever will pass by here, sa anong grupo yung nagdarasal? They start asking it. But remember, they will be inspired when they see you praying here. And when they see you step out, that's where they will measure you talaga. Hindi one moment, you praise the Lord, which is good, God is good all the time. Coffee break. Chismis. Ano yung sister na yan? One moment praising the Lord, next moment. Does it happen to you? You better say yes. It happens to us, a congregation. I mentioned it in the recollection. One lady got mad at me. Father, why did you say that? Are you saying that, anong grupo niya, ligayan ng Panginoon? Are you saying that lahat na charismatic? Sabi ko, no, ma'am. I'm saying that's a reality. People can go there with the best of intentions, but sometimes they forget. They do things opposite sa prayer. And that's normal. Kaya nga we all struggle. Congregation, ganun din. One moment we are celebrating the Holy Mass. Next moment, kumakain kami 4 pare. Pinag-usapan namin yung mga kapalpakan na ibang pare dyan kasi para mga self-righteous kami. We struggle with that. And good thing we struggle, otherwise we will not understand you. Kung kami mga pare so holy, we are living up there in the clouds, how can we understand the struggle of lay people? So be thankful that we all struggle. You struggle sometimes with your children, it makes you a good leader because you can share your own struggle. But if you're such a great model, hindi ka makaka-relate. Galing mo eh, sobrang taas. Yung pag dumadaan mo, parang may gumagano, nag-send of mahirap na leader, pagdaan pa lang siya doon, napapalun na sila. Maganda yung alam nila, may kapalpakan ka rin, may struggle ka rin, just like us. It makes you real. Developing the fruits of the Holy Spirit, yan, love, joy, peace, patience, fruits yan, palabasin mo yan. Ano pa? Practicing virtues. You know what's a virtue, di ba? Something good, keep on doing it, becomes a virtue. That's it. And then, bear witness to communion. This one is good. Even though sometimes we are good in chismis and destroying, but every time we make an effort to commune, to be one, that's the best talaga. I have my own struggle. We still have time. After 9:30, I have my own struggle with relating. Not because I'm a priest, we are perfect. I've shared this in Singles Encounter. You can actually allow your pride to come in and start building walls. Or you can do something to unite. An example, I have this conflict with another Salesian. I belong to the parish, he's the rector of the school. I'm also a rector, he's a rector. We're actually equal. But then our young people are supposed to play sa school because they have the courts. Itong rector nito, may power trip siya. Gusto niya palaruin ng mga kabataan pag sumulat muna. Dahan-dahan ng paghawak niya, they should write a letter. Okay, we wrote a letter naman, addressed to the priest in charge. Biglang sabi niya, no, it must be addressed to him. Sulat na naman kami, binago, binigay sa kanya. No, the parish must be the one to carry the letter and ask permission. So talaga kinokontrol niya ako, rector na ka-level niya, gusto niyang paluhurin sa harap niya, at ako mismo paalam sa kanya. Umiral yung pride ko, sabi ko, wala akong paki dyan, rector na ako. Tumaas yung pride namin, so wala talagang imika. So, scandalize nangyayari sa amin yan. Sino nag-suffer? Yung young. Hindi makalaro eh. It came to a point, sabi ko, Edwin, you better swallow your pride. Pumunta ka na doon for the sake of the young. So I went, nag-text po sa kanya, Father, can we talk? Ito pa siya, I only have a short time bilisan mo. Grabe, kontrolado ako. I was so tempted na mag-back away, tapos sumbong ko sa provincial eh. But I entered this office, I sat down, sabi ko, Father, can we talk? Talagang cold. Father, I just want to be okay. Ikaw kasi, puro ka ganito. Talaga sinermonan niya ako. Ako na lang, sige na nga. I just want to be okay, Father. And I started crying. I was so carrying a lot of emotion. Nag-burst lang siya. It came out in tears. I cried. Then I saw him also nagtiri-eye siya. And that warm up everything. We start to talk on the level of feelings. Sabi ko, sorry, Father. Ako naman, Edwin, I don't want a fight eh. Tapos sabi ko, sana ano ko pa ginawa to, ano? So we hug. Sabi niya, from now on, whatever you want, all systems go. Paglabas ko, sabi ko, kung pinairal ko yung pride ko, walls talaga. But there's something in us always saying, reach out, do something, unite. I'm not saying that ang ginawa ko is, you should make me a saint and put me in a pedestal, pero I'm grateful na nagawa ko yun. Pinadaan ko sa, nagpahambol ako, nag-reach out ako sa kanya, it worked well. Many conflicts talaga can be avoided if only people will always remember you are meant to commune, not to divide. Kaya, brothers and sisters, even though ang galing mo, may PhD ka, ang dami mong talents, pero yung ugali mo talaga, toxic, and you tend to divide people, that's not very Christian. Yung mga taong ganyan, na parang they enjoy putting down others, we are meant to unite. Kaya kung may conflict sa grupo nyo, people should be humble enough ayusin before it's too late. You know from your experience, no? Couples. Hindi yung mag-asawa, yung couples for Christ. Is there a possibility someday that two groups can unite? We are still praying for that. It will be very powerful if the two CFC can be together. When will that happen? I don't know. Do we have to wait for the elders to die? Maybe. See the whole life as a mission. Okay, next. Second to the last. Seeking the simplicity of the Beatitudes. Here is good thing, Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor. Try to live an austere life. Blessed are the meek. Humble meekness where quarrels arise. Nagawa ko yun. I'm not really proud, pero nung nagawa ko yun, I realized, kaya pala. Blessed are those who mourn, compassion to the other people's sorrow. Blessed are those who thirst for righteousness. Kahit sa ang buhay mo, you always seek for justice and even fight with it, with hunger and thirst. Fifth, blessed are the merciful, act with mercy, help, and forgive. Blessed are the pure of heart, keep heart pure and free. Blessed are the peacemakers, you sow seeds of peace, justice, and in other words, pinapractice mo talaga. And last, blessed are those who are being persecuted. You accept the lack of understanding and even persecutions. That's a virtue actually. Sometimes people will not understand you, but you can go like this, bahala na. I did it with all best of intention, na misunderstood pa rin nila. I cannot do anything anymore. Natanggap ko na lang. That's part of Beatitudes. Okay? Last, growing through small gestures. Anong sabihin nito? Simple things which we find in other people and reproduce in ourselves in daily life. Maganda yan, brothers and sisters. When you see someone doing good, sabihin mo, okay na, pwede ko rin gawin. Yung gayahin mo yung mga goodness na nakita mo sa iba, naduduplicate mo. Holiness is being spread. At nakaka-inspire yan. Okay, kwento ko lagi yung nag-share ko, yung hirap na hirap akong magsabi ng I love you kay tatay, pero nasabi ko rin sa kanya once in my life. I think the world would agree. We all grow up 4 boys and 1 girl, so ang family namin medyo dominated by males. Kaya walang problema yung camping, suntukan, away. Pero yung, kuya, I love you, wow, saan ang galing yan? Hindi namin kayang. It took me a seminar to be able to say I love you sa cellphone, nilabas ko. Nokia 3110 pa yata yun. Pagkatapos sabi niya, Edwin, get out. Sinigawan niya ako, get out. I don't want to see your face. Shock lahat to kasi pari ako ginagawa. You can only come back if you can tell us you called your dad and you told him I love you. If you cannot do that, you don't deserve the seminar. Go home. Mga ganun ako, sabi na ako, pari, lagot ka. Sa Greenbelt Amy, paglabas ko, corridor, ang daming dumadaan. I'm looking for a corner to hide kasi I'm gonna cry. If I call my dad and tell him I love you, talagang iiyak ako. So nagaan pa ako ng corner. At na-tempt ako magsinungaling, mag-fake na lang. Daan ako na CR, basahin ko yung mata ko. Yeah, I was thinking of that. Kaso baka i-check na lang yung cellphone ko, ba't wala naman yung tatay mo rito? So I was really diving board. Tatalon ba o hindi? I took the plans. Tawag. Tay, kamusta? Eto, sa Uma, nagpapahangin. Uma is farming. Yan tatay ko kasi sama na few words eh, doesn't talk. Tayo, ang ganda ng seminar, Landmark Forum. Hinahanda ko na yung speech ko. Sabi niya, talaga? Landmark Forum? Okay. Wala na. Tayo, alam mo, na-discover ko, children often take their parents for granted. Medyo nagaganin na yung voice ko, kakrak na eh. Tatay ko, ganun. And tayo, ito na, pagitna na, we, your children, often take you for granted and we don't say, I love you. And my voice was trembling already, about to cry. Tatay ko, talaga? Yung pala, iyak na rin siya. And finally, wala na akong choice. I have to go personal. And Tay, let me say this. I love you so much and I'm sorry for taking you for granted. And I broke down, I cried, and he heard me sobbing talaga sa phone. Sabi ng tatay ko, ganda ng seminar, ha? Ano ba yung seminar na yan? Instead of telling me, anak, I love you too, anong ginawa niya? Yung pala, maiyak na rin siya. Alam mo, feeling pa nagawa mo, feeling mo you can do it again. Tay, sandali, let me say this again. I love you so much, and I'm sorry for taking for granted. I cried again. Tatay ko ganito, thank you. The next ko yung sister ko, sabi ko, Karen, nasabi ko rin, ang hirap, pero sabi ko kay tatay, I love, sabi ni Karen, yan talagang problema sa atin, we wait for someone to disappear someday before we say, I love you. Biglang sabi niya, I'm so proud of you. Biglang sabi niya, and since nasabi mo, I love you kay tatay, let me say this to you, I love you too. You see? Nahawa. When you do good, it ripples. Bumalik sa akin. And there's something I think we will not regret. Better do something na pumalpak than not do anything and you will regret. Amen? Amen. Follow a path of holiness according to one's own state. Ito pa, binanggit talaga, kahit lalaki ka, but yung feminine tenderness, it's recommended. Especially for fathers, ha? May image ng tatay na ano yan eh. But if a father can be very tender sa mga anak, I handle 4 years, ha? Many of them would say, nang bata kami, ginagawa ko yung tatay, ang cute-cute mo nga, nung 4th year na, distance na. Hindi mo na ako hinahag. Because father might say, tatay ako eh, nanay lang yan. But yung feminine tenderness then must be for all. Not refusing to fly high even when we are challenged. Hanggang dito lang ako eh. When the Lord will ask you. So reflection for this, even when we are bombarded with bad news and the power of evil forces that make us think whether we're still making an impact or having relevance, ask yourself, covers for Christ, are you making a dent sa mundo ngayon na napaka-pagan and atheistic? Sometimes nakaka-discourage. When you look at young people na they have their own ideas na lumalay sa simbahan, may point pa ba tayo? Are we still making an impact? Ang sinasabi dito, don't give up. Kahit ganyan ang mundo, you never know ang simple things na magawa mo. Still do the good and believe that it can still bear fruit because of God. And that's holiness. Hindi ka gumagawa because you expect, gumagawa ka, and then you sow the seed, who knows, may nakakita. Baka yung anak mo ngayon na medyo rebellious siya, sumasagot sa'yo, pero medyo nag-mature yan, naalala niya pala yung advice mo as a dad. Not forget that. You never know kung anong na-plant mo. I'm gonna end with this para sa amin mga Salesians. Director Major reminds us, dear Salesian, it's not about doing a lot of things, opening news houses. No. You live your life individually and collectively. That's how you communicate holiness. In other words, mas relevant tayo mga Salesians, not because we have big schools, but because they see in you individually as a Salesian, as a community, you live your life holiness. What really is at stake is our holiness. So brothers and sisters, the challenge for us is holiness for you too. And the challenge is, just live it. And the world will see. Thank you.
Father, thank you. Meron pa tayong few minutes, 15 minutes. So maybe we can have some open forum. If you have some lingering question you want to ask Father Edwin, now is the time. So, anybody? So, is it hard to be holy now that you have heard about holiness? Di ba, remember a few years ago, yung Holy Warrior team natin, di ba? Holiness is, parang dream natin is to be just like saints, right? We want to be like saints because we want to go to heaven. Who goes to heaven? Yung mga saints, di ba? And how do we become saints? Basically, to be holy. So it's not impossible to become saints, but we have to be holy first. So yun, yung fullness of life. Ano mga bro? May question ka? Anyone? Do I see anybody? Kaya Father, paano kayo nag-start na, I'm sure at one point, kasi sabi niyo Brother, didn't see you as a becoming a priest. So, at what point have you accepted that, that I have to be holy? I love God, but I want to renew my life. And at what point did you told yourself, I want to change my ways and make it extraordinary?
Actually, because of this definition and style of holiness, it made me realize I can enter. But first, my attraction is not about holiness. My attraction to become a priest is with the Salesian priest. In Poite, they become witness. Ang mga pari namin doon, Italians, Spaniards, Germans, may Yugoslavian pa, so important talaga. At medyo terror sila pa nagturo but during lunch break and recess time, they play football. Si Father Jurko nakakatakot pag recess time, nagmamagic sa harap namin. So sabi ko, if I ever become a priest, I like to become a Salesian. Nothing to do with holiness. Ako, I find it personally, kung nagsimula ako na with this, I want to be holy, that's too high for me. Ang jumping board ko is very human. Nothing with holiness. In fact, nothing even with God. Ang gusto ko lang is, I want to become like them. And since my best friend was entering, I want to join my best friend. Pero si Lord, dahan-dahan mag-plan. At kahit napari na ako, sometimes nakakalibutan ko yung holiness, I start to function as a priest. Preacher ako, principal, economer. But there comes a time in your life when you start to question, what is my life ba talaga? At the end of my life, how will I live my life? Pag namatay ako, no regrets. Doon pumasok yung holiness. I must live a life na when I die, no regrets. Hinahanap ko yon, and I realized I'm actually looking for holiness. Pero hindi siya pumasok agad. Sorry kung may mga saints talaga na gano'n, like Don Bosco, 9 years old pa lang, alam niya na. Ako hindi gano'n. Kaya wala talagang sign. Mga kapatid ko, it was even Alvin ng kuya ko na sinamahan ako mag-enroll sa Don Bosco Victorias. Hindi ako nag-enroll. Kasi gusto ko mag-enroll sa Don Bosco Mapanga. Sabi ni Alvin, anong gagawin mo doon? Seminaryo. Sabi ni Alvin, bahala ka mag-report kay tatay. Sabi ni tatay, tayo ayaw mag-enroll. Sabi niya, anong problema mo? Tayo gusto ko mag-enroll Don Bosco Mapanga. Negros kami, Pampanga, para ka pumusang Amerika nun . Ano gagawin mo doon? Seminaryo. Ikaw, papasok. Lalabas ka lang, mapapahiya lang kami. Nobody believed talaga. Ako rin, hindi ako believe sa sarili ko noon. I wanted to end it because of my best friend. Pero yung holiness na yan will really come when you start to question your life. What is my life for ba? As married people, you have to ask that, was I born just to marry my spouse, have children, that's it? There will come a time you will ask, what is the end of my life? And you realize, my life pala is all about seeking fullness of life. And that's holiness. Papasok yan certain times. Sa akin, kahit na seminarista na ako, wala kayo, pinalabas pa ako. Kahit na pari na but there came a time when I start to ask Edwin, proud ka na nagpipreach ka ng retreat, people like your homily, that's it. That is the thing that you will be proud when you die. I realized, there's something more pala in life. Hinahanap ko pala yung buhay na pag namatay ako, I can say, no regrets, I have lived a great life. And that's holiness. So it will come dahan-dahan. So I hope I have inspired.
It's something different pala, no, Father?
Yeah.
Something that actually you wanted, but you ended up.
It's something you cannot escape eh. Kasi magtatanong ka ng mga questions talaga, what is my life for? To become rich lang and have a big bank account? Realize mo pala there's something more.
So, any takers? Children, are you raising your hand? No. Somebody from Dayang? From Dayang, kasi we're the oldies. Maybe we planned our life too late to become holy. Now that you, the young people,
Oh yeah.
as Father said, di ba?
They can inspire, the young people can inspire.
You can actually inspire us. You are actually inspiring us in a lot of ways that you don't know yet. So, yeah, yung mga young natin.
And by the way, for the young, let me just add this. I don't know your reason for joining couples. It can be something petty. A young person can even join a youth group just because meron siyang nagustuhan doon. Pwede yun ha, that's always a jumping board. That can be a jumping board. Pumasok ka kasi may type ka doon. Or pumasok ka kasi may ka kumanta. The Lord can always start with something petty. Pero pag pumasok ka na and you start to deepen, doon papasok ang idea, ba't pa ako pumasok dito? Ano ba talaga na-enjoy ko dito? Yung girl na yan, o I start to realize, meron palang buhay dito na I feel good about this, na parang, okay, good friends kami, tapos I'm okay with my family. Na dahan-dahan realize mo na pagpasok mo pala, you're actually looking for something bigger. Pero simula niya, and something be very petty. I had a classmate priest who also wanted to leave the seminary na, except for a trumpet. Love na love niya yung trumpet, nag-stay siya because he loves playing the trumpet, and now he's a priest. In other words, trumpet lang yun, so petty, but the Lord used it to keep him and remind him, beyond the trumpet, what are you looking for? Kung ano, I love this life pala. So young people, you can enter the couples and the youth and couples for Christ for a petty reason. But I bet when you go inside, you will start asking questions talaga. What is it I'm looking here? Na-realize ko, I like it, na hindi ko makita sa labas. And I realize it's teaching me something more solid. And I hope you will get that. So don't feel bad na, pati pumasok na naman ako kasi gusto ng nanay ko eh. O kaya napilitan lang ako because nandiyan yung girlfriend ko. You can always start with something like that. Pero gagamitin ni Lord yan to start making you question something sa buhay.